welcome. This is uh, Imposter Emil. So there's two uh, parts to this. So for now, we're just walking you into our pseudonym. So hopefully, when we bring the actualization, I'll be in my own world. So from this into here, let's just get into what Imposter Mill is about. So everything's not a script. I'm just going off the top. That's why it's live. If I were gonna do that, I would have did a pre-recording. So for um, the live feature, we are just going to try and stay authentic. So we call it imposter mill for two reasons. One, a mill comes from the Book of Saints, and the name means imposter. Uh, Two, this is a place where I get to talk about everything. So I like music, so I want to be a world artist. So I moved that to another Facebook. I like innovation, so that's this Facebook. And then there is the actual business and company, and you know, working as a founder and CEO or CEO. Um, it's That's a peak. It's also the fruition of things. That's on another Facebook. Then there's money and other things like that. That's on another Facebook. And there's the aerospace, and that's on another Facebook. So it's consumed with a lot of things, plus what I um, brought to discuss today. So we're going to be reading from our Nokia, and this is a document that I am using as a business plan. So uh, actually, we're going to read from we're going to read from our PC um, my Nokia charges. Uh, we're gonna pull up our AI so we can read from it. What we've been doing So we're looking for the AI. We have our streaming equipment on, so sometimes it creates it creates we mostly are in the process of getting whole new different sets and pieces of equipment because we don't want to trade over everything um, immediately to get it from my Google. So now we have a problem. All right, I'm gonna minimize. So I have different social medias, Google accounts, and just how I described earlier about different Facebooks and different things I used to different work around and uh, my, build my content or other things like research files, and so um, so we actually decided to do the upgrade thing. We don't have no need for it now because everything's so don't really need to worry about it. We use a version control software, GitHub. So all of our files are situated to the level where I get this, what I'm about to discuss, that it transitions to the actual completion of everything. So, in the order of having the actual launch, we are at the level where we're using our AI to put our uh, prompts and our assessments into a file so we can be able to follow up with the remaining of our research. So that way is everything's connected, it works, and it'll be able to go on to the website. So the website, we did like 4 databases. We found this watching another content creator. So we used it supply me with databases. So we built those, and um, for instance, for this one, I get to comment one of them. That would be my tech portfolio. because, like I said, I want to be a world artist, and then I like cars, so I want to build my own cars, have my own mega manufacturer that's building supercars, luxury cars, limos, motorcycles, and SUVs. And what we're doing from there is uh, just basically using our company and database that we're working on now to supply us with the data that we need to actually build these machines. So I want to convert the engines uh, into a quantum uh, simulation uh, software, and uh, to do so, I need uh, I need to um, have the data in order to be able to run tests and things like that. So, along with entertainment, we want to get into production equipment, cameras, and things like that. Uh, this is for just average individuals who are creating things with social media. So we want to build a studio where we put up cameras where they have more room and be able to uh, expand their horizons and take in what they're actually uh, creating. So we follow a lot of Hollywood for purposes of understanding how ratings work because we're using memes to work with some of the software I'm doing. Uh, this is for virality purposes, and we will take the data that we get from what we're doing with our meme store, and because it's a culture, so we can sell them, and they can be remixed, they can be used, they can be transferred even onto wearables, watches, smart glasses, wherever, whatever. And still at the same time, they can be monetized. So, with that reaching something just on your wearables and it's monetized, it will provide me with the data I need because inside of that program that I wrote, it's a DNS code with quantum simulation, uh, IBM Qiskit language. So uh, with that working with the metadata, it retrieves what I need and it sends it to the database. And along with that, adjacent to that, it's another page linked to that um, takes you to which are the wearables. It takes you to a quantum simulated search engine. So that's about Einstein and his work, and so it's generally to produce responses closest to the imagination. So it's actually derived from, or yeah, it's actually derived from one of his phrases. Imagination is more important than knowledge. So um, there's the level of algorithms, mathematics, uh, coding, and etc. that's put into it so that that's transferable with the data that I get from the virality and ratings and stuff like that. Because it's the quantum simulation or quantum simulating. Quantum computing is totally different, but I understand it in likeness of how the machine works off a binary or um, classical systems like the one I'm on now, whereas a quantum system is working at different scales. So we're just trying to synthesize what we can to understand how to make sure we can use it because cars and things are built with classical systems. But so much as engines, so much as automotive design and engineering, to add quantum simulation, it gets to belong to the actual engineering and however we can shape it because we built the cars to fit the engine. So while that gives me infinite amount of room, I just have to stay with inside of the actual blocks. So you have 8 cylinder, 12 cylinder, so a 5 cylinder, so or inline. So we just basically stay within the blocks and we work around that because now from the past to now, cars are now using software. And so software uses a lot of automation. Now we're getting into AI, so we can put AI into this. We can move it to uh, hybrid systems that work with electric and actual motors. So the big task is the engines and the actual motor that's telling it what to do and things like that. So while that is the major task, we are following it in a fashion of where we are now from using our entire databases, for our entire website, our conglomerate, if you will, and we just kind of add that. Along with that is a website I tried to build years ago. I put together like 40 plus companies. So what we're going to do is going to bring that over to our databases as well. So we set up another version control repo with another social media, but still GitHub. And we're going to move all of that to there. That way we can start a separation of that, where it's using the codes in there to keep the conglomerate or to keep the different entities separate but working with each other. On screen and face value, they won't appear as they're working together, but to aim for post-Genesis nuclear powered data center, this will suit very well for it. So even though this is still going to get rolled over, because when we launch, we're going to take all of these and create new accounts for them and migrate it. So this way, we start fresh with new security protocols. So to get into it, what are we actually talking about? Our start for this conversation is where I want to take this. What I'm close to now, what I'm nearing, is having my own office suite. So I want to lease an office suite in DC, Washington DC, um, and this one's about uh, 110 grand a year. So we're working on this Web3 app, and this Web3 app will probably accumulate. It's projecting numbers or giving me numbers in my research for building it. Because how I work, I research it, then I build it before launching. So it's giving me numbers from hundreds of dollars to low thousands of dollars to a whole 100 grand a year. So since we started out with something that could cost me infringement wise, we put more research into it to change it up. So the logic of it hasn't changed. It's going to be applied to the crypto and trading platforms. So right now we have an affiliate marketing company and we are building the app for it. So when I launched this app, we put the affiliate marketing on the back burner because we were going to use that for a startup, but we needed to be licensed and we needed to have a business banking. So we put that on the back burner to do something more micro funding. And then we had to even stop with that because um, it turned into something more than what we were creating. So now that's our initial startup. So we were just offering microservices, which were $10, $100 to build like flash pages, like someone wanted to sell something, they wanted a web page, so that would be $100. We would build a page for it, and they would pay for the flyers, the equipment, and stuff, and then sell from there. But we take now a number of 40 classes with online learning, and we're consistent to only wanting to complete 4 of them because there are ones that I've already taken. I just never got to I never taken the exams. I got to the exams, but I never taken it. So with that success, we see recruits after that, whether for finance or employment. But this micro consultancy was the small thing to use to get a few $100 or a few $1,000 because research prevailed where working with the affiliate marketing company putting that in, it suggests that I would have to have a license, but to go about it like using Zen Business where you pay $100 and you have your license thing, that's reputable. But most favorable in the assessment was uh, finding employment or using my creds to work with recruits to have an employment and saving 10K to hire a lawyer to get the extensive amount of documents, business documents that I need to say that I'm a business so that I can actually have a professional business account like with Charles Schwab. So instead of bullheading the license and getting a quick one to pitch for a startup, which is okay. You can do that and then you can pitch for a startup. You might get a venture capitalist that want to give you a few $1,000,000. But the level of work that I have with the 4 databases, I just did not want to introduce what I was doing with just affiliate marketing because I would have to solely focus on that because the affiliate marketing industry is a bit perplexed. It's like just tedious when you're creating it for others. With the micro consultancy is the same thing, but what we did with that, we ended up getting into the venture capitalist arena. So we started building something for ourselves to value our own company. So in the process of that, we created something with synthetic USDE. This is a digital currency, Web3 currency, I believe. Uh, what we do with that is we have our back end, we call it Eigenwarp. So we put that structure together, and what that is a synthetic bank. So we build a reserve to take all of the numbers to put it in a reserve like the Federal Reserve, and we use this value to create algorithms from extreme conditions because the synthetic value doesn't carry extreme conditions. It can be, it always has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So a synthetic value of 450 billion can be 70 billion, or it can be 400 billion. I mean, it just depends on what the synthetic value uh, generates from. So we are generating it from the actual narratives that we're using for our entire synthetic structure. So we took some Einstein studies and his life work to build programs and things like that for our micro consultancy. And along with that, we built a valuation, an investment database. So that's a part of the website. So in that, we use our micro consultancy to change it around like a new stock market. So the investors now, they will put into the actual startup. And then when you scroll down to the bottom, you have post scale, which means things that come after that: data center, race car resort, telecommunication company, Wi-Fi, electric, just things like that. So we're constantly accepting investments so we can build for the post genesis. This gives me the opportunity to move from having a office suite in DC to buying property out in Rural Valley, Virginia, Prince William County, Northern Virginia, just where the wooded areas aren't traipsed upon yet. This gives me the second opportunity to take my post genesis and create a city. Whereas since it's no extreme conditions, that means like how the stock market goes down or up, and it's just investment. As long as we keep it focused where the post genesis is, we can keep uh, moving forward with investments. So with having that as a city, then others come in where they've invested enough where they can branch off and occupy a floor in one of the buildings newly developed in this city. So the thing is, it just sounds exciting because this can be a 10-year change, even though it takes 10 years to build one building. But the level of persistence Americans kind of dwell with, roads can be done, um, surveying can be finished, timelines can be pushed forward just from the diligence alone. So I chose to move out in a different area to give more space to have more visual. So even if there's something hindering projects or things like that, we're peaking at 1 trillion. So with the extreme conditions, what we did we created a program with 4 different layers of cognition. So this generates an algorithm. And then since extreme conditions are pretty broad and pretty much any company, pretty much with investments, we can look to companies like BlackRock, who uses the negative portion of what valuation is, meaning how your company falls. So that is what is used with them to determine what your company is worth. So something with that for me with generating algorithms with extreme conditions, this is writing narratives to their system to have nexus. It's like I got already what you're gonna do in failure. So with a tool that I possess, this is like adding another stack of um, cross math layers. So I generated from the cognitions using a cross math game that I played. I took the concept of cross math. So it would be like saying 20 plus 20 is 40, or 30 plus 10, or 37 plus 3. and you have to choose which one of those numbers you're going to use to complete your cross map, because they're not all going to work, because you got to complete the entire cross map puzzle or cross puzzle. So I took that same concept. I said, when dealing with the extreme conditions, use the variables and how 20 plus 10 or 30 plus, 20 plus 20 or 30 plus 10. Use that because, we're dealing with powerful equipment where this does the work to say this company can have extreme conditions, so variables of escaping that. So I use that with my synthetic value for generating what I can value what I'm actually working with, which are the backend codes. So we use the synthetic to evaluate the codes, because real market data, when you buy into it, weighs it against other companies that already exist. So with coding, even if they do that, I already built it for my synthetic. So giving its value from when I actually transitioned to real codes instead of having placeholders, which we already did, except the placeholders are null. They don't have anything there. They need to be activated with the apps or buying into particular buying into particular marketing platforms and methods and things like that. Then it sends it back to me, working with the other programs, and then I push it to the version control, and there I accumulate algorithms that solve extreme conditions to keep it out. So we write smart contracts with them and send those to companies like Athena, which is where we're using to publish the Web3 app. So they're totally synthetic. They're a trading asset. If you go to Coinbase or Kraken, you can find Athena. Then we have Ethereum that writes the smart contract. So we pair that up with companies like Alliance Advisors, who writes narratives, and we go back to our Medium article that talks about how to sell using repos. So we built the actual software that conducts all of this, and this writes smart contract globally to different companies that use these things randomly, leasing the algorithms. So while the repo fills with algorithms and a metadata for it, tells you what it does, what it solved, how it worked, how it generated, just everything you need to know about it. And we apply it to the actual systems that can use them in a lease sell environment. So the company can keep it as a sold item, but it's still being leased because it could bridge into something else. So I took that approach because from start we started with building AI coach, from using it to teach me how to build my how to learn with my college courses when I enrolled. So studying with it and transitioning from it, it allowed, that's where it had to be changed from placeholders to null, because we were building sample programs using null, but these were things that I created from my imagination. Build a quantum engine, build a search engine using quantum simulation code, because we started with database and programming languages, but then we moved to different architectures and was introduced to quantum computing, where I took an online course with that, which was following up with me being introduced to IBM's quantum simulation code Qiskit, and we just kind of ran with the idea from there. So that is the nature of how, when it reaches repo and developers developing use with the smart contract, um, this algorithm could be somewhere else doing work for something else that could actually possibly benefit the company and are not attached to where it manipulates the other use of it, the sell and lease aspect of someone actually using it. It's just, floating around in the reserve because I built the eigen reserve. So it keeps my algorithms, my synthetic value. So those are one-to-one ratios. So they're in the same pool, so it all makes sense. If I did it, I would have to create different inconsistencies. But while it all flowed together and things, we're generating the rest of the workspace to be able to run our first cleanup. And our first cleanup is going to be cleaning out the money. So we right now have a 470 billion, 70 billion synthetic value, or 465 or something billion synthetic value. So with the one-to-one ratio with the algorithms, I just need to generate 460 something billion algorithms and price them at $1. It could be priced more considering the metadata, but we're doing the dollar, so they're gonna have two prices because we're doing the dollar. Because first we have to do a handshake with the connections that apply because it runs to my personal bank account. So instead of being put in a position where a lot of money can flow through there, and I might have a fraud detection or something, we run a $1 test to make sure the handshakes are working. This $1 test will compute to the reserve so that I'm able to do a $1 test with everything. And we can set up automations for that. Run a $1 test and then run the purchase at the same time. But I don't want to get into all that. That's for later when we're talking and discussing if we're on that subject. And so now we contact our payment service, say we might have a large amount coming through, so we need to expand our payment cap. So we'll go from $70,000 to can have an extensive amount pass through. So if say I can do $10 million at a time or a day, then I would do 10 million a day. So while that's at a 450 billion, we finish our work, and then around that time we'll be able to buy into the real market methods that are used with actual lenders and banking institutions, and we can plug that in with our project to run the $1 test, and that'll generate the actual dollar amounts for everything. So it's just a bit wavery because right now all I did was stage everything. It has real wording. It's just not an exact real wording. This is just to get across. So that's why I'm running the test to vacuum out all of the real money that may reflect on it because it's my work. So as long as the algorithms are there, they can be sold and used digitally. So basically, I would write to the blockchain and I would tell the blockchain to sell it to different aspects of it, like the different blocks that consist of it. So, like a different block could be somewhere in um, Europe working with something else with a woodworking company. So if they're looking for a certain thing to work, and I've used this to solve extreme conditions, and the blockchain's aware of it, then we send it to there, and it works in kind of favor of that. But it sounds crazy, but it's not because we're using eigenstructures. This is a geometry similar to Albert Einstein's. So what it does is I create paths and write narratives for them instead of competing with DeFi companies, decentralized finance companies that are already assets on trading platforms with speed. I create my own speed so that it's useful in the terms of the blockchain understanding why it's sold what it's sold and why it's paying for what it's paying for. So the service is paid for on the other end digitally because it's being used. It's just amount of it's just a matter of how the handshake works. So it could be a decomp, or I forget what it's called, decompress error. But those things are evident. This is compliance. This is governance. So going into all of that, we did that research before we started using the eigenstructure. That's why we built the reserve. So um, these are also connected to different things, our meme stores. So it's all there. I can even just pay myself and sell the meme for free because it's linked to the monetization. So instead of the value of the monetization being used from retrieval, like in the earnings, it's put against the reserve. So I would have went to that structure before it got there using my eigenstructure pads before the sale gets there and buy it myself and um, leave the meme in shorter context. And then the algorithms there, and then with the eigenstructure, it just searches out everywhere on the blockchain where it supports what I did and continue to function. But the key thing that's used is connecting it with the real market tools, the things you buy into where everybody's aware of what you are. You don't have to particularly announce it. You can keep that with the narrative. So your narrative is most important. Your narrative gives you permission to do that. It's what's there by law that says you're not a fraud, you're not a scam, you're not frauding, you're not committing fraud. So outside of that and loopholes, everything's legit. Uh, but starting from where we are close to, which is having our office suite, it's elaborated with uh, what we worked with from our micro consultancy. It's basically trying to create the infrastructure. So when we put together the investment site, we're putting our business plan on there. We're putting other business documents up there, but we're gonna consume those with passkeys. So when someone go looks at it and they want to apply to it, they'll be able to. So the microconsultancy that I elevated, not only will we be offering the base service that we started with, the elevated services, we're also going to be the point of contact to say for individuals with accounts to say they changed their business plan. Since there is no extreme conditions, they can change it to work in their favor because in post Genesis, what if they want their own floor, their own suite or something? So they want to be a part of the city. So now they want to be a part of it, then we have to conclude our micro consultancy and apply the change. And so this is good because all of the work that the back end is doing, we want to um, actualize it. So the more we change for the human instead of selling to them and giving them the change where we pay them, that gives the computer the write variables it needs so the hardware can function legitimately. So these things generally, like having the space for to do all of that, costs a number of anywhere from uh, more than what it well, the price will go up a couple of $100,000 a year. But the app that we're working on trying to elevate now from bringing in 100K a year, we are trying to uh, pull at least 1 million to see if we can do it. But something just triggered my hunger to want to chase 10 million. It's just a Facebook post I share, or well, I did this Facebook post for a magazine entrepreneur. They did a thing on David Beckham, and he sells supplement or nutritional drinks or something, and he sells out 10 million a month. So something just made me want to say or want to do that. So I went ahead and just kind of ran with the hunch, and now we're trying to aim where we can go through with that. I wasn't actually going to share this, but I figure I can, so I can be able to express how much of a change one day has made. I did this prompt today. So we were watching a cooking show, and it looked a bit high end. So we had moved to asking what is around it. So this one pretty much just gave me a layout of uh, what can be done with it. So far, we can do 40 employees, provide medical insurance, 401ks, health, dental, vision, workers' comp. Um, I have a total multiplier, social security, um, and fit it in a $10 million budget. But the gist is not the app. The app will fund getting me there, even so I can take the 10 million out of the app. I can chase 1 million, because the 1 million, the 9 grand a month will give me lawyers to get licensed to, because the app, I don't need a business license. I don't need a business banking account. It's just an app. It pays in crypto. So I just send it back to my Web3 services, and that converts it to my Stripe from Bitcoin. I mean, from the DeFi services to communicating with the payment services, and the payment services accepts it as Bitcoin, or I mean as crypto, and then the payment service pays my personal bank account in USD and fiat. So what we did, since the micro consultancy is on the front end, this is what I'm going to first launch for the startup. But this app paying me 100K a year, I don't need the startup, but I get to uh, jump into it because I'm using I'm buying into the methods that's used. And so by doing this, it pays me enough to kind of uh, bring up a 300K a year salary for employees, especially, I mean, like high end employees, those like immediately, directly at our top level positions. So one of them would be uh, one of them would be uh, Let me jump ahead and grab it. So we wrote out our business plan. We'll come back to that. And uh, we are having trouble with our AI. Two prompts, and we exported them in docs. So they should be here, but since we're running with this error again, like, so it's not giving me the prompts that I need. Um, so I just did this one. Um, Something's up with my AI. I just did this one. Uh, I exported it to docs. Um, and my docs, I did a copy paste to it. So it's happening on my phone and my uh, computers. So that's not good. Not a paranoia, but I hope not. I'm gonna see if it's uh, so we're gonna check against some of the final prompts that I did. So this one's not there. Uh, so we have a little bit of an issue because it's not showing. So that plus I don't know what the deal is with this thing. It's not showing up. So we're gonna try it with something else. We're still having the same issues. So we're having the same issues. We can't pull it up, but um, I'm gonna see if I can find it. We found it in our Google Docs, so this is good. Um, I believe we found it in our Google Docs. Uh, yeah, so we found this actual place that's was in the center of a lot of buildings. So this was in New York. So, but this was a food show I was watching. So we found it there, and then we went to um, researching about it. So um, we're almost at an hour. So uh, basically, I'm just jump off. So we now expanded our company. We got our first growth. So when we finish our app, we accumulate enough to hire attorneys. We're gonna shift the focus to New York. Like right when we launch our micro consultancy, we're gonna launch from New York. So I'm gonna keep my office suite headquartered in DC. Then I'm gonna buy the other office suite in New York, and I'm gonna set up my micro consultancy there because where I found it says I'm in a hot spot because I just wanted to look at the restaurant because I like the thing outside the restaurant name type on the thing, and I'm familiar with corporate buildings. I used to work in the corporate sector, so it told me I was in a good spot, that it'll set me up with my micro consultancy. It gave me all the things that I need. So I can jump back on that and overlap with what I already did with it. And when we go for our launch, we'll definitely consume about 500 million. But now I can up that to asking for 1 billion. This will give me enough to buy out the New York office and set up workers there while I'm at my headquartered office in DC, and um, we'll be able to furnish and fix up the whole office, have insurance. That's another thing it suggested. So we just now grew from what we were working with in an app. Now we moved over to where we're going to be in DC. I mean, where we want to be in New York. We found a location. We found the particulars. We got a whole general assessment from 2 prompts with what we were discussing about leasing in DC with just the food location. I just saw the restaurant, New York, New York. Food location. I asked what's around it. Places is very high end. Some of the places there cost $1 to $3 million, like to live. Some of the office spaces they are direct with different companies, where micro consultancy favors it like numerously. So uh, that's something that really jumped off for me, gave me the growth. So since we're nearing having the space in DC, we can now actually put together the launch and the startup. And while I'm in DC, I build the micro consultancy with the other employees, and they build it up, and I oversee it while working on the whole conglomerate from DC, launching the micro consultancy. Thanks, y'all, for watching. I got to get back to work, so I'll be seeing you guys.